Today we are going to conduct a webinar on the topic publish or perish. We have eminent speaker Dr. Megha Sheth with us. Ma'am has graduated from the KEM Hospital, Mumbai, and she has post-graduated from SPB College of Physiotherapy, Ahmedabad. She is working as lecturer since last 18 years and she is master guide at the Gujarat University since last 2 years and PhD guide since last 5 years, with 4 scholars having completed their doctorate. Madam has written book titled Principle and Practice of Physical Rehabilitation, published by JP Publisher, with four more physiotherapy books ready to publish. Madam has 150 publication in various national and international journals, and she has presented paper at national conference and poster at PSK conference in UK in 2014. Madam is a member of ethical committee of various colleges, and keen interest is in geriatric health research and conducting seminar on the research related topics. So, on behalf of Parul Institute of Physiotherapy, Parul University, I welcome you, ma'am, for the webinar.
Good afternoon, Chaitali, and thank you for this opportunity. Good afternoon, all seniors, colleagues, and PhD scholars and students, if any, who are present. I thank Parul University and Bhavna ma'am for this opportunity to be here talking on a topic pretty close to my heart because I'll definitely go for publish and not perish. So let's see how much I can share my experience with you rather than the knowledge. Chaitali, can I share the PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can start now.
So, good afternoon again. And publish or perish, I think we have invited this situation into our lives where we are into academics, postgraduate learning,
Just one.
or we are.
You can go for full screen, ma'am. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. Is it not? Okay. I have done a full screen here, but it's not changing.
Ma'am, you can share your window, entire window. Whole screen you can share, then it will be.
Okay. Okay. Entire screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Then it will be visible properly.
Present your entire screen.
Yes, ma'am.
અને પછી શેર નથી થતું બટ સોરી.
ઓકે તો વિન્ડોથી કરી દો વાંધો નહીં ને પછી then you press F5.
ઓકે. સોરી શેતાની. તો પહેલી વારે થયું તું.
હા યસ મેમ. No problem, ma'am. You can start.
Sorry, no, but this is bad. I'll just try one last time. I'm sorry. Hmm. No, I'm sorry. I am not able to do it. Okay. Yeah, actually, so when I was reading up for this seminar, I realized that the juniors would actually be better than me, where we look at the quality tools. So, how do we select a journal? But still, they do have problems in actually selecting a journal. And um, so, I thought that yes, this is a good opportunity to share my experiences. So, what I would be talking about, it's not moving, also, I think, Chaitali. I think it's not moving.
Slideshow is not working, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, you can share PPT with me. I can present from here. Like, if
मेल
it's
करो.
possible, you can mail me. I will be sharing from here only.
Sorry. I sent it, Chetali.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, we have kind of invited ourselves into the situation where we have to publish or perish. And the reason for that is that we are into academics. Academics could include either post graduation or we are PhD scholars. For academic, for our increments in wherever we are as a teacher, we need publications. So either we have some publications or we are stuck to where we are. For our annual increments, we need to have publications. We want to improve our CVs. We need to have publications, so we need publications in our professional field. So what I'm going to talk about today, Chetali next. Yeah. So we are. I'm no the previous one. So I'm going to give a outline for Chetali. The previous line. Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit of the UGC list, the databases that are available to search articles and publish articles, quality tools to assess a journal, and finally how to write so that we publish and not perish. So that is how I'm going to talk about today. Like I said, the motivation is academics, improving our CV. Next. And we also have an obligation to the society where we need to share our new research findings. So, like we just had COVID, and we found that proning is improving the SpO2 in the patients. So, we need to share these findings, and that's an obligation to our society and also obligation to the physiotherapy community. So that research is not repeated, our findings can be helpful to other members of our community, and research is even carried forward. So that these two are bigger motivations to publish rather than only an academic achievement that you are going to get. And I think the most important thing is that you enjoy publishing. I enjoy getting comments from reviewers that you need to improve this. This is the question that we want to answer. And when I can answer these questions, I enjoy that process a lot. So therefore, yes, we need to be motivated. Next, Chaitali. But however, we do have problems in publication. So the first one is because of this do or die situation that we are in it's compulsory to publish. Otherwise, you cannot submit your thesis. You have done research in MPT, but you want to still publish it. So it is a little compulsory. However, the time period that is given to you for publication is limited. That is our biggest hurdle that we can say in publishing, because it takes time to publish. The time is required. The next point, the time required is to write an article. It takes really long. Once you have written it, it is sent to a journal. There is a whole review process. It takes time for acceptance of the article, and it takes time even after acceptance for the final publication. So we have to finish this process in a stipulated time. Also, there is money involved, and the most difficult part is probably finding a journal that is going to suit your article. So where to publish, which is what we are going to try and talk today. Next. So when we are trying to select a journal, the most important question is what is the credibility of that journal? And we are going to talk about the quality tools to assess the credibility of the journal, which most of us are even aware about, the impact factor, H index, etc., this ranking, JCR. But we'll talk a little about that. So what is the credibility of the journal? But more important is to know where not to publish. Because in our emails, we get a lot of invitations ke publish karo aiya, you can publish here. They even actually write down that the word PubMed comes up in the mail and we are attracted towards it. But it is not indexed in PubMed, it is not even cited. The line is that it may be cited in PubMed. So we have to be wary about these journals and whether they are predatory journals or not. So publications in dubious substandard journals, they are not going to be helpful to us in our professional course, and they lead to long-term academic damage and a tarnished image, and therefore the universities nowadays want us to publish in the UGC care list. So it's easy for them, the journal has been scrutinized and the university can get a better ranking. So for the PhD scholars attached to deemed universities, it's pretty easy. You just have to go to that list and try and find it out. Okay? But before actually submitting to a journal, next, you need to know what is the acceptance rate. Chaitali, next. Yeah. So journals have acceptance rates that range from 1%, 3%, 45%, 63%, and almost 100%. So the journals which have an acceptance rate of 100%, they are obviously not the good ones. But the good ones may have an acceptance rate of 1%, 3%, 10%. So you have to be wary about that. So articles, 100 articles sent to them, they accept just about 10. So how good are we? Are we actually good enough to send it to that journal? Journal websites even offer the time that they take for reviewing the article and how long does it take towards acceptance. So whether we have that much time, and I think if we begin early enough to publish an article, yes, we may have that much time to wait for acceptance, and maybe if it is rejected, to send it to another journal. So time that the journal takes for acceptance is also very important to review and accept and reply. Then how much time does it even take to publish after acceptance? And what is our target community? So the journals are selected according to who we want, where do we want our article, who do we want our article to be read by, right? So the journal should be relevant to that article that we are writing. So a lot of times it is better to select the journal first, and then according to that we can write the article. Before that, we can look at the scope of the journal. So the scope would tell us whether our article is going to be acceptable to that journal or not. A lot of times we send an article and the editor sends it back saying that it cannot be sent forward also even for reviewing in this journal. So it goes beyond the scope of that journal to send our article. So let us not waste our time and energy trying to find those journals. Next. So, deemed universities has made it easy for the PhD scholars that you have to publish in a UGC CARE list. And we have only invited it because we want to publish. We were publishing in any journal, and now the university wants that we publish in good journals. So the credibility of the research publication is extremely important because it is representing the academic image not only of the individual who is publishing, but even of the institute and the university and even of our nation. And that is why it is a national list that comes out. The number of research articles published in reputed journals is one of the globally accepted indicators that are considered as good for academic purposes. Next. And this UGC CARE list is updated 4 times in a year, every quarterly. Right? The UGC CARE list is dynamic. It is updated quarterly. That is on the 1st of January, April, July, October. So we should not be surprised that we decided on this journal and now the list has changed. So that is about the updation of the list. Next. UGC CARE list has 2 groups. It has group 1 and group 2. Group 1 is the journals that are qualified through the UGC CARE protocols. They had their protocols and the journal has qualified according to those rules. And the group 2 is journals that are indexed globally in globally recognized databases, which again all of us know, that's Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science, etc. So next. Articles published directly in the good globally accepted databases, they are taken into the UGC list. And UGC has its own set of norms because of which. So you either have the group 1 and group 2 or they have these 4 groups where group A was what comes into Web of Science, Scopus, PubMed. So that is group A. It is going to be in the UGC list. Group B is list of journals from the previous UGC approved list, which were also found that they can be continued. So they are then continued into the next list. Group C is the journals that are recommended by the council members of UGC CARE. And Group D is the journals submitted by the UGC CARE universities and which are qualified as per the protocols. So there are 4 groups of lists that are available. Next, I have tried to write a few names. So most of, if we look at India, the deemed universities have their journals, the medical journals, which can be used for us and they are definitely connected to the UGC CARE list. This is more about the Indian lists, Indian journals in even the Scopus or PubMed lists. Okay. So UGC and UGC CARE has this list, and this is the list that is available even in Scopus. So you could take a look at these journals. Sorry. So next, yeah, we can just look at those lists. Next. Then there's something called as open access. So open access publications are accessible without the cost to the readers. So for the readers, it is free. And that means that if I put in an article into open access, my article is going to be accessed by a lot of people because it's free. Otherwise, I have the option of publishing in paid journals where a reader needs to pay for if they want to read my article. So research was conducted whether there is reading more of open access journals or in the paid journals. Again, this was controversial. So some articles found that open access journals are more read, but another article found that even paid journals, they have enough access, right? So, so some experimental and observational studies have found that articles published in open access journals do not receive more citations on average than those published in the subscription journals. But other studies have found that the paid journals are also equally read or cited. Okay. So these were about the journal UGC care list. Now let us look at a few databases also. Next. So a few databases which again all of you know. They would be Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, and we also have PubMed and Medline. So I'll just talk a little bit on this part. Scopus is Elsevier's abstract and citation database, which was launched in 2004. It has n number of articles, n number of journals, and it covers next. Yeah, so Scopus covers 3 types of sources: book series, journals, and trade journals. And all the journals covered in the Scopus database, regardless of who they are published under, they are also reviewed every year, right? Just like our UGC is reviewing the journals every quarterly, Scopus is reviewing every year, and even this list can change. So last year, the journal was indexed in Scopus. This year, it may not be. And this is to allow high quality standards being maintained. Next. So searches in Scopus can also incorporate searches for patent databases. And Scopus gives 4 types of quality measures for each title. So we'll talk about these quality measures a little later: H-index, CiteScore, SGR, and SNP. Next. So PubMed again is pretty popular with us. It is a platform on which people can access medical journals. It is a search engine that helps find science journals on the database for the National Library of Medicine. We can call it the Google of medical journals because whenever we want to search for a medical article, we tend to go to PubMed. And PubMed and Medline, they are almost used interchangeably, but they are not technically the same thing. Medline is the largest database within the PubMed. So PubMed, ni andar there is Medline, which is also a database. And PubMed is a kind of search engine. Next. We also know about the Web of Science, which is also providing access to a lot of databases. Web of Science has its own quality tools, and JCR, so the Journal Citation Report, that quality tool is limited only to the data of the journals that are cited in Web of Science. And Web of Science also has n number of articles in arts, humanities, and science. Next. So this is also something that you already knew. Then we can talk of quality measures also, which a lot of people know. And these are tools to measure the journal impact. So it's very simple. Yeah. So we are drowning in information. All of you have more information than I do about the various tools that can be used. And it is obvious that higher the tool measure, better is going to be the journal. So the first one that we talk about is the impact factor. Impact factor is a measure of the frequency with which an average article in a journal has been cited in a particular year. It is used to measure the importance or rank of a journal by calculating the times its articles are cited. Now here the hitch is that impact factor can be even based on just one article. It does not mean that all the articles of that journal are being cited or read more frequently. So it is not giving you an actual idea of how all the other articles of that journal are. But yes, there's at least one article which is being cited quite well, and therefore you get a higher impact factor. The calculation is based on a 2-year period, and let's not see how it is calculated. Next slide. A few drawbacks about the impact factor: it is always 3 years old. The impact factor for the present year will only be coming after 2 years. It can be calculated and completed only after 3 years of publication are over. Impact factor denotes the citation of journals and not of individual articles. Impact factor of 10 or greater is supposed to be an excellent score. 3 is good, and average is less than 1. So when we look at an impact factor of 1, 1 to 3 is kind of average, 3 is good, right? So we can select journals which have an impact factor between 3 and 10 or greater. Next. Citation impact is a measure of how many times an academic journal article or book or author cited by other was cited. It is the number, it is the citation count, right? How many times is their article being cited? And citation counts are interpreted as measures of the impact. Obviously, more the citations, better is the article or journal. And now, because of this citation and how to calculate the H index, the M number, the G value, this has given rise to a special field of bibliometrics or scientometrics, which is specializing in the study of patterns of academic impact through citation analysis. So we'll just go through a few other tools. Next. If you look at the journal citation reports or JCR, the JCR provides rank for the journal in various areas. For every journal covered, the following information is collected. So citation share, article counts, impact factor, and then you have a few other tools, immediacy index, cited half-life, citing half-life, source data listing, citing journal listing, cited journal listing, subject categories, and publisher information. So this is just what they are seeing so that they can give a rank to the journal. But JCR is only given to journals that are databased in Web of Science. Next. Then we have the H index. H index is more of an author tool. So it's telling you how good the author is and whether we should follow that author and the journals where the author is publishing the articles. The H index is a quantitative metric based on analysis of publication data using publications and citations to provide an estimate of the importance, significance, and broad impact of a scientist's cumulative research contributions. I think basically it is that higher an H index, the better it is. Higher an impact factor, better it is. H index is mainly for the author criteria. But an H index of 10 means that among all the publications that one author has, so if I have 150 articles, publications, and if my H index is 10, then 10 of my publications out of 150 have received at least 10 citations each. So 10 articles have 10 citations, then I get an H index of 10. The H index is next. So it is a metric for evaluating the cumulative impact. So my total work, no bhegu karine, it gives, okay, the H index of this author is so high. And the H index corrects for the disproportionate weight of highly cited publications or publications that have not yet been cited. So I have 150 publications. So 10 of them are being cited and 140 are not being cited. So H index is going to combine both of them. I think I'll let this, okay. So H index is, it does not assess the entire body. Next. It does not assess the entire body of the scholarly output of an author. And it is not in a time frame. Okay, if I have been working for 5 years and this is my publication list, and I have been working for 15 years and this is my publication list. So it does not consider that, okay, within 2 years, an author has done so much of good work. So it is slightly injustice to the younger publishers. It is not a universal metric and it is difficult to compare authors of different disciplines. So an H index in science and an H index in arts is going to be different. Self-citations can also skew the H index. So I can cite my own article again and again, and that is going to increase my citations, but that is going to skew the H index because H index does not take into account that one. The H index disregards author ranking and co-author characteristics on the publications. So author che co-author che, the co-author does not get any advantage. And there can be paradoxical situations where the authors with same number of publications but varying citation counts can have the same H index. So H index does have its own flaws, and because of that, I think now we have the G index. So next. We also have an M value and we have a G index. So the M value is a correction of the H index for time. So depending on whether I have been publishing for 5 years or I have been publishing for 15 years, we can get the M value. M value is an indicator of the successfulness of the scientist and can be used to compare scientists of different seniority. Okay, so the M value can be seen as an indicator for scientific quality with the advantage that it is going to be corrected for carrier length. Next. So we have the G index. G index is also slightly better than the H index, and it is an author level metric that came up in 2006. It is calculated based on the distribution of citations received by a given researcher publication, such that a given set of articles can be ranked in decreasing order of the number of citations that they received. So I don't know. I don't like this theory part, but I'll have to go through it. The G index is the unique largest number such that the top G articles receive together at least G square citations. So for example, if I have a G index of 10, it means that at least 10 publications have been cited 10 square times. That means 100 times. And that is why it is a little better than the H index. A G index of 20 indicates that the top 20 publications of an author have been cited at least 200 times, has at least 400 times, because it's 20 multiplied by 20. Okay, so G index has the advantage that it takes into consideration the time frame and also how many articles are being published, cited. Yeah, next we have something called as the Ignin factor. Again, this is something that is applicable to Elsevier or Scopus, to Web of Science, because it can be found in the journal citation reports. It is intended to give a measure of how likely a journal is to be used and are thought to reflect how frequently an average researcher would access content from that journal. So this is a little better than the impact factor, because if you want to, your aim of publishing is to share your knowledge, you want to know how frequently and what is the chance of your article being cited, or what are the chances of your article being read. So Ignin factor gives that idea. So a better Ignin factor is going to be a little better than the impact factor. It is telling you how frequently an average researcher would access content from that journal. So what is the readability of that journal? Next. So we actually have a lot of tools that can tell us how the journal is. Scimago Journal and Country Rank again comes for the Web of Science, and it is again, I think, let this pass. So you have something which is this also, which comes with Elsevier. Next, you have the CWTS Journal Indicators, Center for Science and Technology Studies. CWTS is Center for Science and Technology Studies. It has 4 tools: P, IPP, SNP, and self-citations. Okay, so P is just the number of publications of a source in the past 3 years. So how many publications have been done by that journal? IPP is something similar to the impact factor. It is the impact per publication, calculated as the number of citations given in the present year to the publications in the past 3 years. So they all have their formula of how to get a certain number, right? That which is divided by the total number of publications in the past 3 years. So IPP is fairly similar to the journal impact factor, but it does not correct for the differences in citation practice. It does not allow differences in the different fields: arts, science, social sciences, like that. And IPP was previously known as the RIP, which is the raw impact per publication. Next. So you have SNP. SNP is the source normalized impact per publication, and is calculated as the number of citations given in the present year to publications in the last 3 years divided by the total number of publications in the past 3 years. But I think what's important is that we need to remember, we can look at impact factor, we can look at a journal rank, we can look at SNP, we can look at IPP. The difference with IPP and SNP is that it is normalized for differences in the different scientific fields. So if a certain scientific field has more publications, the citations are obviously going to be more. So SNP looks at the number of publications and then it looks at the number of citations. Percentage of self-citation, that is at the source, is calculated as the percentage of all citations given in the present year to publications in the past 3 years that originate from the source itself. Yeah, so I had a journal where I used to send articles and they would say, yes, everything is good with your article, but kindly add some more references from our journal. So that is the self-citation, because they wanted to increase the citation level of their journal. So they would tell me that, yes, your content is absolutely fine. Kindly add a few references from our journal and we are ready to publish your article. So we can have journals like that also. A little bit more on SNP. So the impact of a single citation is given higher value in subject areas where citations are less likely and vice versa. So wherever there is a field which has less publications, एनाમાંથી જે લોકો જે citations કરતા હોય, તો then SNP number is going to be more. Unlike the well-known journal impact factor, SNP corrects for differences in the citation practice between scientific fields and allows for more accurate between-field comparison of citation impact. Yeah. And CWTS journal indicators, they provide stability intervals that indicate the reliability of SNP value of a journal. So now if you are going to read the SNP number, SNP value, you're going to be a little better off. Yeah, that's done. Next. So this was a lot of theory about what to look at when you are trying to select a journal. But I think eventually when you send an article to a journal, it is more of what you have written that they are going to accept. And so we should, yes, get better in writing, how to write. That also is kind of easy now because we have a lot of guidelines that are available. CONSORT is the consolidated guidelines that are there for the randomized trials. STROBE guidelines are available for observational studies. PRISMA guidelines are available for meta-analysis and systemic reviews. And START is available for diagnostic articles. So depending on what kind of an article you are writing, you can look at these guidelines. They have their own checklists and see that you have written everything according to these guidelines, and chances of your article getting accepted is going to be more. Also, when writing, it is better to have a specific research question. We come up, whenever we join PhD or MPT or we are doing a study, we want to think of something big, and we should think of something big. But when we want to find an answer, it is always better to have a specific research question, which is very specific. So you know what you are out to find and you know how you are going to assess or measure whatever you want to find. And when you have a specific research question, your answer is going to be specific. So the results is specific, right? So whenever you start thinking of a publication, make your research question very specific. Don't think like, abhi to kar lete hain and then we'll decide later what to do. Whenever you have clear and specific aims of the study, and then they are carried forward into the method, the results, and the conclusion, the article is definitely going to be better. The best way to start learning how to write is trying to find faults with others. And I think that is quite easy for us. Or it's not easy actually, but it's easier to find faults with others than finding faults with us. So start criticizing other articles and then learn to criticize your own article. That yes, this was done here and we have not done it. It's important to get relevant journals. So a journal who is going to accept whatever you have written. The scope of the journal should be meeting what you have written. Otherwise, the editor itself is going to tell us that no, we cannot send this article any further into the peer review process. So look up the community who will be interested and then find a journal. Based on that, community. So if it is a public health article, you can send it there. If it is COVID, you could send it to a cardiorespiratory journal. So you can look at the community who is going to be interested in your article. Check the references to find relevant articles. So even the references is going to help you. This is a acronym for getting your research question to be better. Research question should be feasible, interesting, new, ethical, and relevant. It should be smart. That means, again, it has to be specific. You should be able to measure the outcomes. It should be appropriate. Relevant is very important, and you should be able to finish it in the time that you want to. So, your research question is very important to get a good article. Next. And in trying to find or even write a good article, you have to think of what, how, where, why, and when, and who. These 6 questions will help you even write an article well, and it will even help you formulate a research question well. Next. And it is important to have the good question because your method is going to be based on that question. A well-designed study which has poor statistics, it can be rescued by reanalysis. You can go and take the help of a statistician when your article has mistakes with statistics and a review comment gives you that you need to do this again or you need to do that again. Statistics can be redone, but a method cannot be redone. So a poorly designed study is beyond redemption even by sophisticated statistics. फिर statistics में आप कुछ भी करो लेकिन अगर method ही गलत है तो it devalues your article. Next. So I would say to conclude, how to survive, because we definitely want to publish, we do not want to perish, but there are no standard steps. We can change our attitude. Not that it is compulsory to publish, but we can enjoy the publication process. The most important hurdle when we are trying to publish is time, because we get up at the end that now it is compulsory to publish. So PhD itself is you have to learn how to manage the time that you have and the other resources. When we are doing PhD, we are also in that stage of life where we have other life commitments. So we have to manage PhD, publication, and the rest of our life. So plan your article, plan the time management. You can give 2 hours in a week, more than enough, rather than giving 5 hours together at the end. Decide the journal that you want to write before you start writing if it is possible. Do not give up, whatever happens. Whatever comments come from reviewers, they are always answerable, always changeable, and keep learning in the process of those reviews. So better the journal, better the review comments, and you get better. So you keep learning. Stay honest. The advantage of India is that we have a lot of data. We have a lot of population. So data cannot be a problem. So don't make up data, stay honest and stick to that. And your article will definitely be good. And the last but not the least is review, review, review. Review your own article so that your quality is better. So happy publishing and thank you. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, madam, and thank you so much for sharing your very, very, very valuable knowledge about publication. And this is very important for not just being the PhD scholars, but for all, for the faculties, for the masters, for the PhD scholars also.
Academicians, yes.
Everyone. So,
Everyone.
and you, who else can be the more expert than like throwing light on this topic? Thank you so much for sharing your valuable knowledge and experience about publication and other.
Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity.
It was pleasure to have you on PU webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So we will continue the meeting here. Thank you.
Chaitali, there are no question answers to this.